Hi everyone, this is Hiba and I'm so excited to be doing a Q&A video for you. So it's been a while since I showed my face on here. I have a lot of new subscribers and I thought it would be fun to do a Q&A video. So I posted on Instagram if anybody had any questions for me and I would add them into this video. So I have a lot of questions to answer and I wanted to get through all of them. And I'll probably do another one of these. I usually get the same questions over and over again. So I know there's more questions out there. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. And maybe in my part 2, I will answer those questions as well. So let's get to it. If I'm looking down, it's because I just have questions here on my iPad. But the first one is, how many hours a week average do you spend creating projects? I get this question asked so much. I know it looks and seems like I'm always crafting, but that's not the case. I'm really good at scheduling my life and leaving time to create and craft because that's something I love doing. That's my happy place. So throughout the week, I would say average maybe 5 hours. I know it's not a lot for a whole week and for someone who's always posting and sharing, but I'm a fast crafter. I can get a layout done in 15 minutes. I enjoy that type of crafting more than planning the craft, planning the project, planning the layout, because I feel that takes away from the fun of it. So I just decide I want to use this stamp set. How can I use it? And just go through my pictures, find something that goes well with my stamp, and create it. So I find that when I do that, I'm faster at crafting. And really the only thing that takes me longer is the editing, the voiceover, the posting the videos, the reels. But the crafting itself, it does not take me long, and I don't craft a lot. I do want to say that's not including when I do my daily journal or my planner, like if I fill out my planner or go into my planner and check things off. These are like every single day kind of thing. And anyway, my daily journal does not take me long to put together anyways. It's just journaling. Probably takes me 15 minutes before I go to bed or whatever. But I do sometimes stamp in there or add stickers or whatever, but it really does not take me long. And I don't really craft every single day or for hours. So I hope I answered that question. Okay, so for this next question, she asked, do you pick the stamps, etc., before starting what you're working on or as you go? So I usually always have one product that is speaking to me, or it could be a picture. So basically, if I have a special photo of my niece's birthday, I just know right away, obviously, I'm going to be documenting this birthday and it's going to be a birthday theme layout. So I will grab a stamp that's birthday themed, maybe pattern paper or something, but I do not like plan. And I say this all the time. I just like to go with it, have fun. And so basically, if I had gotten a new stamp and I really want to use it, that's how I build my layout. I'll just say, oh, I have this new alpha stamp. I want to use it. So let me print the photo. Let me grab my traveler's notebook and just create. So I do kind of grab something to start with, but I don't grab all the embellishments. I don't sit there and go through all my stuff and build the layout. It just comes naturally, and I'm very grateful for that. I don't have to kind of overthink it. I have a question here that says, hi Hiba, do you ever print collages on 8.5 by 11 paper for scrappy spiral notebook? If so, process. I do not. I do not use my home printer to print large photos. I feel like I'm wasting my printer ink. I do have like a selfie printer and I have a Picture Mate, Epson Picture Mate, and I use those. So I always keep my collages smaller. So it could be between a 4x6 and a 5x7 if I'm using my Epson. So I usually print my photos that way, and I use my collage apps to print those sizes. But I usually don't print with my home printer for photos It's very rare, really, really rare. I use my home printer for printing stickers, scrapbooking kits, things like that, but not for pictures. So Telly says, as a mom of toddlers, I'd love your perspective on documenting your children's lives and finding enough in your documenting. Thank you. So I understand it's really hard with toddlers. You're very busy. I wouldn't be able to craft or do these videos if my kids were younger. Like, no way. I was a very busy mom and I totally get it. I know how busy moms with little ones, life is hard and very busy. So I always recommend to keep your project simple. Don't look at other crafters who are doing all the things and they have little ones, because you don't know what their situation is. Maybe they have extra help or whatever the case is. So basically, don't compare your projects to others. Just keep it simple. Let it be your thing and let it be enough. So if you have little toddlers and you just don't have the time to craft daily, have a small journal and maybe use photos, like smaller photos, little journaling about whatever your kids were doing that day. You could even use a planner for this. And what I would suggest is use a planner and use it as your daily journal. And every day you journal a little bit about your kids and add a photo, your special picture, whatever. And you could even use your paper, you could use your stickers, but I wouldn't overthink it. I don't think you have to have a full album of each child. I didn't, I started scrapbooking in like 2006 or 7. So my kids were, beyond that, a little bit older, and I used to scrapbook 12 by 12. And I didn't scrapbook all their photos. I sure did not. I didn't do that at all. So I always recommend keep it simple. It's okay. Your kids are not going to grow up and look at your scrapbooking layouts and say, oh, but you didn't scrapbook me when I was 1. Like, they don't care. They just want to have something special and something that you created. So even if you used one journal for 3 years, it's still scrapbooking. So don't think that you have to do all the scrapbooking and document all your kids and a million pictures to be a scrapbooker. I always say this, like, online is different than real life. And I give all the props to toddler moms because I know how hard it is. My son was very active when he was younger, and my husband worked full time. And so I was his only go-to entertainment. So I don't even think I would have been able to scrapbook anything when Leith was younger. So just have fun. It does not have to be something big or amazing. I also do suggest this one too for moms with toddlers and don't have time to scrapbook. Use those Heidi Swapp storyline chapters. I think that's what they're called, the planner ones. And use those. Those are perfect. You can add a picture, add a little bit of journaling, kind of play with product, and it probably would just take you an hour to put together, maybe when they're napping or something. So I definitely recommend that. Okay, I have a similar question here, which says, do you have recommendations for projects for full-time workers in school that can fit in their schedule? So basically, people who are going to school full-time, work full-time. Again, I'm going to say, keep it simple. Do a daily journal. I love my daily journal. I've been doing it for years now, and it's just an easy, simple way to document your life. I don't put pictures in my daily journal. Sometimes do, but mostly I don't. But you can definitely add pictures. I have a bunch of people I recommend on Instagram that share their daily journal with pictures. One of them is my dear friend, Elizabeth. So I will link her down in the description box for you. But there's so many people that use pictures in their planners, in their daily journal, that you can document your life without overdoing it. I also do enjoy Project Life, and I feel like Project Life is an easy way to document yourself if you work full-time and you don't have time to do all the things. The beauty about Project Life is the pictures and the cards just go in pockets. You don't even have to embellish anything. Like, you can just write down what you want on a card, a 3x4 card, throw it in the pocket, add your favorite photos, and be done with it. You don't even have to do it weekly or even monthly. You can just document your favorite moment. So I definitely recommend to probably look into a planner, a daily journal, and maybe Project Life. But also, there's traveler's notebooks that are smaller than your standard size. So you have the field notes and things like that. I do a lot of projects in my field notes, and they're really small and compact. So you can add a picture, add some journaling, and you're good to go. So I always recommend this. Scrapbooking is not like how it used to be. I used to hate how people always told you, oh, you're not a real scrapbooker because you're not journaling, or you're not a real scrapbooker because you're not using a 12 by 12. Those days are long gone. I've been working in all kinds of different projects, as you can see, and I'm still growing and I'm still finding new ways to document my life. There is no right or wrong way to do it. So if you don't have the time, you work full time, you're a mom with a bunch of toddlers and a baby and all that, keep it simple, keep it to journaling, do it your way. It's your way is always the right way, believe me. Okay, so this next question is favorite supplies and getting started building a documenting habit. So for me, I'm going to start with the building a good habit. I think any habit, you have to build it to get to that level that you're looking for. And I believe if you just crafted a little bit every day, it could be something very simple, like stamping a title and walking away. If you build that slowly, it becomes a part of your lifestyle. So for me, I don't craft every day because I don't have the time to craft every day. Sometimes I'm doing something else. Sometimes my kids have something I have to get to, work, whatever the case is. So I always recommend that you start really small, maybe with a small project. Again, a field notes, traveler's notebook, have a picture, try basically daily or every other day to stick down a photo. The next day you can come in, stamp your title, stamp a number, a little bit of journaling, and move on. And it starts to build. Then the next few weeks, you add some stickers or you add some layering to your project, and it will become like part of your lifestyle, and it becomes something you miss doing. When I don't scrapbook for a couple of days, I feel lost. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't scrapbooked or crafted or did something crafty in a few days, and I miss it so much. So it just becomes a part of your lifestyle. It becomes part of who you are. So I definitely recommend to take it slow, do your thing, and hopefully it just becomes a part of what you do. And it's basically like handwriting. If you want better handwriting, you're practicing every day to get there, and that's the same thing. And I also do recommend inspiration is out there. It's all over the place. If you look anywhere from Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, there's so many different crafters that do all kinds of different projects and total different styles. So I recommend to take a look and find your style. And if you are a simple crafter, find that person who inspires to be simple and then build your crafting and your habit from there. Favorite supplies. Sorry, that was the same question or part of the same question. So some of my favorite supplies is my mini trimmer, my Tonic mini trimmer. I use this thing all the time. She is my baby. I love this thing. I had the old one. My old one, I've had it for years. I can't even remember. It was like orangey, maybe brown and orange. But I decided to move on to the grays, and because I really like this combo. So I got a new one, but honestly, even my old one was working just fine. But I got this one maybe a few years ago. I love my Tonic trimmer, and I do have the large one, which is pricey, but I've had it for over, I don't know, 10, 15 years. So these things last. So this is definitely one of my favorite supplies. Recently, my We Are Memory Keepers punch. Let me grab it. I'm really enjoying this. This has become a favorite tool in my go-to, especially when I was doing my Me, Myself, and I project. This was my go-to tool, but I really love this. I love that it has like different sizes, holes, and it will punch through basically anything, honestly. It's pretty tough and it's very heavy. Stamps are another favorite. I know I have an obsession with stamps, as you can see, but I know it's not for everybody. And so I always say this, build your stamp collection slowly. That's what I did. If you go way back to my first craft room tour, you'll see I didn't have a lot of stamps. But I started building my stamp collection slowly. And obviously, a few years later, I became part of the industry and started working for some bigger companies that would send me their stamps. But I always recommend don't feel like you have to have all the stamps to create. Just, you can have a few alphas and create thousands of different layouts. So don't feel like you have to have all the stamps and all the tools and the inks and all that good stuff. But those are some of my favorites. I can't even, like, there's just so many. I can't even go over it. But again, I have a lot of the products that I use over and over again linked in my Amazon storefront. So if you want to take a look at what are some of my favorites and things I use all the time, I even have some pens in there, markers, which some of my favorite markers are the Tombow markers. Those are a favorite. So I will add that link in the description box for you, but I always have it linked in all my videos. Okay, so let's move on. So this next question, talk us through the steps of teaming up with Studio Calico to create your own products and kits. So I've been a part of Studio Calico's creative team for a while. I think maybe from 2018, 2019, I'm not even sure. And I'm a big fan of Studio Calico. I love their products. I know it's not for everybody, but I love their products. I was a subscriber since 2011. So you can see that I've always used their products. But being on their creative team, like every other creative team member who's been on there for a while, has done classes for them, has probably, was designed something of some sort or helped in some kind of way. And Studio Calico reached out to me and asked me if I would work with them on a Ramadan stamp set. Obviously, I am an Arab American Muslim, and so obviously they know that. And they wanted my help to put together a stamp set that they can sell on their site. And that was huge and amazing. It was, I did do a happy dance because one, I love sharing my culture and heritage and my religion. And to be able to have a stamp for all my Muslim friends out there to grab from Studio Calico and use the stamp on their projects means a lot. Because when I started scrapbooking, none of that existed. It was really hard to find anything in Arabic or anything that has to do with our religion. So it was really nice to have that. But then it became, I think a few months later or so, maybe a year later, again, they contacted me and asked me to do the Me, Myself, and I kit with them because they knew that it was pretty popular at that point. And we did really well with the Ramadan kit, or the Ramadan stamp set. So basically, that's how it happened. There was, it just happened naturally, basically. There was no, steps or anything like that. I didn't reach out to them and there was like a proposal or anything like that. It was very casual, very laid back, and we got to work together. And I'm very happy that I was able to do that. And I'm always grateful for Studio Calico. Actually, not just Studio Calico, Kelly Perky, Elise from Feed Your Craft. I know Feed Your Craft closed shop and stuff, but they really give me a lot of opportunities to work with them and share things from my culture and my religion with the scrapbooking world. I appreciate that. Anyways, I went off topic right now. Let's get to it. What is your daily routine? So my daily routine is I wake up around 7:30, 8, and mostly 7:30. Since my daughter's starting to drive herself to school and stuff, I don't have to wake up extremely early. But around 7:30, I'll have my cup of coffee, feed the dog, eat something, just 2 hours pass, just me kind of tidying up, getting myself waking up basically. And then I do a little bit of work. So my husband and I have a small medical supply company. And so I do the purchasing and little things like that, nothing big or anything. But then I get to work for my scrapbooking stuff, like my YouTube, my Instagram, any kind of collaborations I have going on, sponsorships. So that will take a few hours. I do break it down. I do not like to overwhelm myself, and I don't want to hate what I do. So I make sure that I'm not working 5 hours straight, basically. So what I'll do is I will start, let's say I have to film a few videos. I'll film one and then I kind of walk away, probably go drink something, maybe go outside and play with Stitch or something, come back in, do another filming. And then if I have like two, I feel like comfortable with two, I don't want to overdo it. I'll start editing maybe. A lot of times I go see my parents. This is all before like 2 o'clock. Around 2-ish, I start cooking. I always like to cook for my kids. I call it mommy guilt. I hate cooking, but I do cook almost every day. Just want to make sure that they're eating healthy and they have a warm cooked meal for them. So I will cook. That will take a few hours. Then one of my kids comes home, mostly it's Sabine, will be home and we'll either eat together or we have to wait for my son. And it's once 5-ish hits, there's no work after that. My working day is literally just in the morning. And then the rest of the day, it's either cooking, cleaning, running errands, probably passing by, seeing my parents, being back home before my daughter gets home, eating dinner together. So really, my day ends around 5-ish. When it comes to work, work. I do consider like cooking and cleaning and all that work. And basically that's it. Like once 5 o'clock hits, I'm not working. Like as in going to my office and working on something no, I'm not going to do that. If I did work in the evening, it's editing, which is for me a very easy task. And I'm watching something. So I'm entertaining myself, but still getting something done and kind of getting it out of the way. But I don't look at it as work just because like I'm able to just sit and relax and watch TV while I'm, working. And sometimes I'll read a book or I just make sure that the evening is my me time. It's either with my kids, with my husband, or myself. I just want to make sure that I'm getting enough rest. I'm not young. I cannot do long hours. And I feel like nobody deserves my long hours but my kids and my husband. Basically, no company is worth me working all day. I'd rather put myself first. And again, to me, crafting is still not a job, even though I'm very grateful because I am getting income from this. But to me, crafting is still my hobby. It's something I love doing, and I'll never look at it any other way, even if it brings me income. I just love what I do, and I don't want that to change. Okay, so our next question is, what is your favorite ink pad for stamping? If you've been around here for a while, my ink pads change all the time. My favorites change all the time. But right now, I'm in love with my Close to My Heart ink pads. They are a favorite. I love the variety of colors. I love how big the ink pad is. They're just huge. And they're magnet. So like, I love that they're a magnet and they just like kind of close. They're just really, really big. I mean, if you compare them to my Studio Calico, like look at that, the difference there. That's humongous. But I always say this, I love my Studio Calico ink pads as well. If you are a stamper in a planner or maybe your daily journal or something, this is the way to go because they do not bleed through. I swear to you, they don't bleed through anything. It's crazy, but they give you the right amount of color. I love these ink pads. I've used mine for, oh my gosh, forever. When I first got them, I wasn't a big fan, but I grew to love them just because I feel like they're not too juicy and I don't worry about them bleeding through things. These might bleed, but the colors are gorgeous. My favorite by far from the Close to My Heart ink pads is the Archival Black. This one has become a favorite. I used to use the Archival Ranger, like Ranger Archival Black ink, but I switched to this one lately, and I love this. As you can see, I make sure I always have backups because I use it a lot. And I always want to make sure that I have extras on hand. But basically, these are my favorite ink pads. They're my go-to. And I have been, okay, I'm going to tell you this little story real quick. I know this video is going to be extremely long. So I had purchased the Stamp Market ink pads and was not a fan. I got to that point where I was like, oh my God, these are so juicy. They're getting all over my stamp block. And I know, and I realized really quickly it was because the foam, I think that's what, or the pad, the ink pad itself was soft and squishy. And I'm used to the hard like foams. And I enjoy that, the hard ones, because when you stamp down, I'm a hard stamper. So when it's soft, it's like the ink is getting all over the place, if that makes sense. So anyway, I had purchased some of them and basically never used them again. And recently I have found my love back to them. I can't even explain it. I started to like them because their colors are gorgeous and I see a lot of people using them. And now I'm starting to use them again. And I've kind of taught myself not to stamp too hard. And one of my friends, Julie from Plan to Create, had given me this little tip, kind of like to stamp the pad itself. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, so basically you grab the stamp and you just stamp the whole pad on paper just to remove some of the juiciness from the pad. I know you might think that's a waste of ink, but I'd rather it not be too juicy and get all over my stamp block and be able to use them because I really love the colors. And I did what my friends told me to do, and it worked out perfectly. And now I've been using them. They have become favorites as well. But by far, these are my go-to. And now I'm starting to bring in different ink pads as well and use those in my crafting as well. That was such a long answer for such a short question. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, we have the favorite store to shop at. So this one's a tough one because it depends on what am I shopping for. So if I am looking for tools and stuff like that, I would look on Amazon. I would shop at Amazon. I do like have all my favorite tools in my Amazon storefront because it's fast shipping and it's free basically. So I do grab my tools from Amazon. Washi tape, Etsy is like by far my favorite. I'll go on Etsy and just look all over for washi tape. It is my favorite to find like small designers who, you know, just like use their illustrations to create a beautiful washi tape. And I like uniqueness. I don't like to have what everybody else has. So I definitely shop Etsy a lot for washi, for printables like digital stickers, digital elements. Etsy is my go-to when it comes to that. And I love supporting small businesses and supporting small designers. But I do love, there's certain stores that I love for certain things. So Kelly Purkey, I love her stamps. I just love her designs. So I'm always on there just kind of, checking out what she has. Studio Calico has amazing stamps as well. I mean, really everything I share on my YouTube is some of my favorites. Oh, and I also forgot like the washi tape shop. Love their washi. So basically, yeah, I mean, any haul videos I share, even sponsored videos, I will never share something with you that I don't love. So when people reach out to me to sponsor a video here on my channel, I always tell them that I have to try the pens or I have to try the washi tape. I want to see if I love it myself. And once that's the case, I will start sharing it here. So I just wanted to say that because I want you to know that whatever I share here is stuff that I use, stuff that I love, and places that I already shop at. So definitely want that out there and let you know that. Next is your favorite pens. So this is the same follower who's asking me these favorites. Favorite pens. I do have a couple of favorite pens. I do love the Muji 0.38. That's a favorite. I think I have some of them here. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Right Tech fine liners. I don't have them here because they're in my pencil case, but I love those. They come in so many different sizes and they are perfect, especially if you're a bullet journaler. They're perfect for that, but I love using them for doodling and things like that. Really love those pens. The Right Tech, I think these are the gel pens. I know they have a name. I just forgot what they are, but I will link them in the description box. The 0.5. These are fun. I've actually shared these recently with you guys in one of my daily journal videos. I love these because if you're working a planner and you write something and you highlight it right away, it does not smudge or smear. I love it. The Muji, these are the 0.38, I think. Love these. These are a favorite. The only thing with these is they smudge and smear quickly. You have to like really wait on them to dry, but I love using them. Then we have the Sarasa R. Love this pen. I think it's the 0.4. Yeah, 0.4. Really enjoy using this one. I don't know why my handwriting looks great using this. I love the Klena Energel. Also 0.38. I like the smaller for my daily journal. Sometimes I'll change it up. Actually, my daily journal, I have been changing it up. I'm trying to find my other pens. I don't have them. I got this pack from Stationery Pal. I think they were the vintage Sarasa. I'm trying to remember if they were Sarasas. Now I can't remember, but love those as well. Again, I will link them in the description box for you, but those are some of my favorites. I have a lot of pens. And honestly, whatever I have in here, I love and use, but I'm just obsessed with pens. I'll try everything and anything. So if you have any suggestions for pens, I will try it. Just leave it in the comments and I will try your favorite pen. Anyways, let's move on. The next one was favorite ways to save knickknacks. Okay, so I saw this question and I have to say I don't save knickknacks. If you've been around here for a while, you know I like a clean, clear house. Maybe the messiest part in my house is my craft room, and it's not even messy. It's just because it's so small and it feels crammed. So when I look at it, I always feel like my craft room is messy, but really in reality is not. But I don't keep knickknacks, and I don't keep knickknacks for scrapbooking. If I kept anything from traveling, and that's basically the only time I keep these types of things, I would leave them in a folder. I know scrapbook.com has those plastic folders, and I will just put them in there until I get to scrapbook my vacation and add the little, flyers and things like that, postcards in my project. But I usually don't keep knickknacks. Now, if that is what you're asking, if you're asking about embellishments, how I keep my embellishments, because I looked at this question and I was trying to figure out, did you mean like ephemera, like when you're traveling, or, if you leave receipts or keep receipts or little things, memorabilias? I don't do that. I don't keep memorabilias at all. But if you're talking about embellishments, I usually use these acrylic boxes. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. I have a bunch of these. I think I have like 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken. And I've been using these, oh my gosh, forever. I discovered these back in the day. I was watching makeup tutorial or something, and she was using these for her makeup, her lipstick and all that good stuff. And I thought, what? I could use that for my embellishments. Like, this is the perfect thing. And so I switched back in like 2015 or something to these, and I moved all my embellishments here. And as you can see, I don't keep a lot of embellishments. I'm really good with what I buy and what I keep and what I give away. But basically, I have them like acetates, die cuts, puffy stickers, labels. You just pull it out and you have all your labels in this little drawer. And once it gets full, I know my puffy stickers is really full and this needs to be cleaned out. So once it gets full like this, I usually go through them and just clean it out. Whatever I haven't been using, whatever been sitting there for too long needs to go, or I need to use it. So I literally just have my die cuts here, or those are my chipboards. I have some stickers and I just leave all of it in these. I have, like I said, about 3 of them. One of them holds like my chipboard. No, my wood veneers, sorry. The other holds a bunch of like large numbers, large alphas, things like that. But this one's my go-to. It's the one with the puffy stickers, the labels, and all that good stuff. So definitely recommend these. I do have them linked in my Amazon store, and I will link them in the description box for you as well. Okay, so the next question. Do your family members like looking through your documented stories? Yes, especially my kids. My kids love my Project Life albums, and they will even share them with their friends. So they'll go through them and they'll laugh about it because I do have pictures of their friends in there as well. So they like to share it with their friends. And yes, they do love it. And they do go through them. But mostly it's the Project Life albums. I always say the Traveler's Notebooks are really for me to just be creative and have fun. So I look at the Project Life albums for the family, and it's for everybody to look through. So yes. Okay, so how do you organize your stamps? So for my stamps, I believe I have videos on YouTube sharing my stamps and organization. I have a big feeling I have one. If I find that video, I will link it. But I usually just keep my stamps pretty basic and simple. I'm gonna grab one of these here. So for my 4x6s, they sit in this little container from IKEA. These containers are really cheap in IKEA. I really like them. They fit my stamps perfectly. And I recently, a few years ago, I switched to themes. So I was really worried about doing this. I used to store my stamps or organize them by brand, but I decided to give this a try and it worked out perfectly. So like basically I have music and shows. So any stamp that has to do with music or shows, it's gonna be in here. It's easy to find. I also have like reading and books. I have like food, I have travel, I have seasons. So I have like winter and fall together. I have spring and summer together. But because my collection has grown, I have been using these containers as well. So these are like double containers and I can't even explain it. So they're halved. So right here in the center, they're halved. I will link them in the description box. And you can fit like two 4x6s next to each other. And these are full to the brim. And then I have for my 6x8, I have a different container. For my 3x4s, I have a different container. But I definitely recommend to check out that video. I have it somewhere here on my YouTube channel, most likely under tutorials or organization or something, or scrapbook room tours. But I know I've shared a lot about my stamping organization. So I just didn't want to get into it here on this video. But basically, those are my go-to containers, these and those. And I try to keep my stamps to a limit as well. I try to always clean out my stamps. So something I'm not using, something I really don't think I'll use, I just kind of give them away and put them aside or whatever. Okay, so this next question, how long does it take you to document every day? I'm thinking like how long does it take me to finish a layout every day, or how long do I craft every day? I think we talked about this earlier. It really doesn't take me long. I can finish a layout within 15 to 20 minutes. Now, if it's, I don't know, if the layout is more intense, which none of my layouts are hard to make. Honestly, they're and this is one thing I love about my layouts, that they're simple, they're easy, anybody can make them. So if it's more intense, maybe 30 minutes or so, that's literally when you watch my videos and my video is 7 minutes long. Like, I just want you to know that that's like a 15-minute process. If my video was 30 minutes long, it might have taken me 45 to an hour to put together. And a lot of the times when I'm recording, it takes me longer because I'm aware of my camera. I'm aware that I have to focus somewhere. I have to do things in a certain way. But when I'm crafting all on my own and I'm doing my own thing, it doesn't take me long because there's no camera. I don't have to worry about like editing and all that stuff. So basically, I'm a fast crafter and it doesn't take me long. Okay, so this next question, besides paper crafting, what other things do you do for yourself that brings you joy? Oh, I do a lot of stuff for myself. I do like to kind of take care of myself, even if it's the little things. So, one of the things I really love doing is having my cup of coffee when the weather is beautiful, is spending time in the backyard because our backyard I think is lovely. And once the weather is gorgeous, I just like to just chill and kind of be in my thoughts and enjoy the moment of quietness and listening to the birds and the bees and all that good stuff. But I do love reading, just having my cup of coffee with a book, that brings me loads of joy. But I really think that, I know it's going to sound cheesy, but if you've been around here, you know, I love spending time with my family. I love spending time with my kids. Just going on walks with my son brings me so much joy. Thrift shopping with my daughter brings me so much joy. Just chit-chatting and having my coffee with my husband in the morning outside brings me joy. And obviously seeing my parents. I try to see my parents at least once, twice, 3 times a week. And that brings me joy, and seeing my siblings and all that good stuff. It's really my hobbies that bring me joy, and then the people that surround me as well. And those are the things that I do for myself. Okay, so let's move on. My next question here. Hi, Hiba. How do you manage your time to do so many projects? Do you have help? So first off, like I said, I'm pretty good with organizing and doing a good schedule for myself. Like, I make sure that I don't overwhelm myself with projects, and I'm really good at saying no. So I don't collaborate with everybody that just shows up. Like, if I do get multiple emails a week, and I don't say yes to all of them. Because if I have a full schedule, I'm not going to take on more, and it's okay to say no. I always feel like when you say no to something, something better comes your way. So I've learned that a long time ago. But as in help, no, I do not have help. I do have help with my YouTube membership, because once I added that to my plate, it did get pretty hectic. So I do have my friend Elizabeth. If you're a peach, if you're one of my peaches, you know Elizabeth, and Elizabeth helps with the peaches. So, kind of posting on my Facebook group and things like that, and helps me keep up with certain things. But other than that, no, I do not have help. My friend Elizabeth, like I said earlier, we kind of, she's like my right hand lady who helps me with these little things to kind of keep myself freer, especially that I added my Etsy shop recently. I, started back up with my classes through my Etsy shop. So these things are add-ons, even though I'm not on creative teams anymore and stuff like that. I really cut down on that a lot, but I did start building my own brand kind of, and sharing my stuff online more. So I did need that extra help to kind of help with the YouTube membership, which, if you're not familiar with, I do have a YouTube membership. It's an awesome, awesome community. The peaches are amazing, and it's always linked in the description box. And if you want to join us, you're more than welcome. We just share all kinds of tips and tricks in there, and it's loads of fun. And if you're looking for a fun, crafty community, come on over and join us. So our next question here, how to keep track of what stamp is on what set. I waste so much time flocking through. I totally get it. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't remember every single stamp set. But if I have favorites, I'll remember that those stamps are there. I recommend maybe doing like an album and stamping out all your stamps in the album. Now, basically for me, that doesn't work. My brain doesn't work like that, and I don't just want to waste my time going through like an album of stamps, like stamped stamps, to find the stamp I want and then have to go look for that stamp. I just rather go through my stamps itself in like the little buckets. But I know a lot of people do that, which is fine. And if maybe that works for you, but I honestly don't have an answer for that because I just literally go through, like I shared earlier, you know, how I have my stamps themed. And so if I'm looking for a music stamp, I'll just, you know, grab that bucket that has the music themed stamps basically. So I would grab this one and then start going through it to find the right stamp. But my brain doesn't work where I stamp. So what I'm trying to say, in other words, I know people will grab the stamp set and then ink it all up, stamp it on a piece of paper, add that paper in an album. So then you have all the stamps on paper in an album and they flip through it to find the right stamp that they're looking for. I find that to be a lot of work, and it wouldn't be something I would do when I'm crafting, because when I'm crafting, I'm just making. I don't care, whatever. For me, this method is easier. You will never know where each stamp goes or what stamp you're looking for until you see it, if that makes sense. So I just recommend organizing your stamps in themes. It'll break it down a little bit for you, and maybe that way you can find the stamp you're looking for faster. Okay, this next question, how do you keep up with all the fun projects you do? I don't really have an answer for this. It's so weird because I don't really keep up with projects. I just create. So, you know, I have the Scrappy Spiral notebook. I love that project. It's one of my favorites by far right now. And I'm so grateful that I found this project. But so I have that, and I'm trying to look for it while I'm talking to you guys because I wanted to share something with you. Okay, so I found it was on my desk. So basically, you can see that, you know, I started working on this, and I got into February, but I'm kind of behind because February is done. And I only have like a few spreads in here for February. I think I have 3. Yeah, I have 3 spreads in here for February. That doesn't bother me. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to think like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind. So what I'm trying to say is I don't keep up. I just create. If I feel like creating my traveler's notebook, but yeah, my project life is on week 1, I'm going to work in my traveler's notebook. It's not a big deal. So don't feel like there is a time limit. You have to finish something on time. Just have fun. If you feel like you want to work in a daily journal, but you miss 10 days, so what? If you want to work in the Scrappy Spiral notebook, but you only created 2 pages, so what? Where's the scrapbooking police? You know what I mean? Like, there's no scrapbooking police. Just create, have fun. That's the whole point of having a hobby. It is not about how many projects you created, how many layouts you made. I mean, to me, I'd rather have 4 amazing layouts than have 100 whatever kind of layouts. Like, I want them to mean something. I want them to be something to me and to my family, if that's, you know, if they're looking through this. So I just say, do your thing. This year, I actually really brought it down to my favorites and just sticking to my favorite project. But I did have to add my daughter's senior journal, and I'm even keeping that simple. My son, I went all out and I did 3 albums for him. But I'm like, this year, I don't have the time to do that. And, when I did my son's, it was COVID. I had all the free time. I was doing nothing but creating. And so now I don't have that time, and that's okay. And my daughter is a totally different person than my son. So, I changed the whole project, and now it's in a journal. So, it doesn't have to be a time limit. And again, to answer your question, that's how I keep up with my projects. I just create and have fun. If I finish a layout or an album, I finish it. If I don't, it's not a big deal. I don't overthink it. And I think that's why I'm able to keep up and create and have fun. Okay, how do you balance your hobby with your work life? So, because I work from home and because I work with my husband, it's really easy to get things done. I don't have to work at a certain time, if that makes sense. As long as my emails are out, I am the purchasing manager. So once I order things, make the phone calls, all that stuff, then I'm free. So basically, if I get my stuff done, and it could be an hour, it could be 10 minutes, it could be a day. If I get it done, then I don't have to worry about it. So it's pretty easy and simple to get done. I get phone calls throughout the day, and I have to kind of break down my day, or it ruins certain projects or whatever that I have in mind, or plans. But I'm very grateful that I work from home. And obviously, I work from home, like my crafting stuff. So I don't waste my time in the car having to commute. So that helps for sure. Okay, so how much time does it generally take you to do a full spread from start to finish? So I answered that before, but basically it will take me 15 minutes, sometimes 30. I don't think anything's taken me an hour. Maybe actually my daily journals and my Archer and Olives, when I used to stamp out everything, those would take me a while because I stamp like a whole month ahead of time. But now that I stopped those, yeah, usually just like a layout, a traveler's notebook layout, probably 15 minutes, not even, sometimes even less. My Scrappy Spiral notebook doesn't take me long at all. I love the boxes, and that's what attracted me to this project, was the boxes and the simplicity of putting a layout together. But yeah, max, I'm gonna say 30 minutes if it's like intense and there's layering and stuff like that to the project. Okay, what's your favorite peach dessert? My sweet peach friend, thank you so much. That's my friend Janet. I'm gonna say peach cobbler. Oh my gosh. The best peach cobbler I've ever had was in Texas. I have to say, they have the best peach cobbler. I don't know if you've ever been to Salt Lick in Austin, Texas. Great barbecue restaurant, but they have an amazing peach cobbler. But anyways, thank you so much for that question. I love my peaches. What's the best tip you can give a daily journaler? Okay, so keep it simple and write about whatever the heck you want. I know a lot of people will come and say, oh, you have to write about your emotions. No, you don't. You can write about your emotions if that's what you want. You can write about what you ate, what you wore that day. It doesn't matter. Keep it simple. Write what you want. And if you feel overwhelmed because you have to fill a page, go smaller. I worked in the Archer and Olive. I was doing my own layouts, just a paragraph of my day, and that worked perfectly for me. And then once I've done it for so many years, because I did start in the Hobonichi and I had a page per day, and then I fell off the bandwagon. I was just like, I can't do this. That's too much space for me to journal. I shrunk it down to the Archer and Olive kind of bullet journal-y style, and that worked perfectly. But then I missed it, and I felt like I wanted to change it up. I wanted more space to journal, and that's why I switched to the Hemlock and Oak. So I definitely recommend to see how much you want to say on your page. For me, I break it down to what I'm reading, what I'm eating, kind of like my current leads, what I did, who I saw, what my kids did, who did they see. I even journal about my cleaning and my washing. I love to clean. It's something I do. It's an obsession, you guys. Okay, so I will talk about it in my daily journal. I'll even mention like what I did, if I vacuumed and if I mopped, if someone helped me clean today, what stains I pulled out. And this is something probably very boring to other people, but for me, it's something I want to remember. So it doesn't matter what you journal about. It doesn't matter how much you journal. If you don't have much to say, fill the rest of your spread with a doodle or with stickers or with a stamp or with a large title. So just keep it simple, don't overthink it, and try to do it before you go to bed. I know a lot of times we're very tired, and a lot of times I'm so sleepy I can't even think straight. That's fine. I will go to bed and not journal, but I'll make sure that the next morning, the first thing I do is journal, like while I'm having my cup of coffee, and just write about my day and journal about what happened, get it done with, and move on. Because I feel like it always starts with, oh, I can't journal today. Oh, I can't journal tomorrow. I can't journal this day. But I'm sure a lot of us have time to read a few chapters in a book, or you have time to watch your favorite show. Instead of that, journal that day, watch your favorite show later, and that way you won't kind of fall behind because you keep moving each day to the next and say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. So definitely, I just leave my journal next to my bed, and I journal every day. And right before I go to bed, I'll have my pen, my journal, get it done with, and move on, kind of thing. Okay, this last question, I believe it's my last one. Yes, it is. So it says, do you ever use watercolor paints? No, I used to. When I worked in the Hobonichi, I used to play with watercolor. I used to do a lot of mixed media. I love mixed media, but I don't know. I moved away from it a little bit. So I haven't been doing watercoloring or mixed media for a very long time. But I do miss watercoloring because, the effect is just beautiful. And you never know what you're going to get. Like, I don't care how good you are at watercoloring. It's just like, it always surprises you, the end results. But no, I don't do any watercoloring, but I do miss it. Maybe I'll get back to it. I still have my watercolor palettes and stuff like that. Okay, so I think that's my last question here. So we can wrap this up because this video is going to be way too long. If I missed anything or you still have questions for me, just leave them in the comments and maybe I'll do part 2 or something. This was a lot of fun. I know I don't show my face here enough, but I promise to do it more often. I know you guys are here for the process videos and not my face, so that's why I don't come on here very much. But anyways, I hope I was able to answer your questions. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.